amazing Las Vegas. We're getting a chance to collaborate with some really awesome people, so really excited to be here.
Two of my best friends, Khalid Matasev and John Bregel, part of Next Level Pictures, we stumbled onto a little Easter egg, this NAB.
Sony was helping us out and enabled the S-Log firmware on our F3. It's one of the first cameras that ever had it, as far as we know anyway. Once we got that enabled, we were able to just do some quick testing in the booth, and then when the guys came and saw it all was active, they said right away, let's do some tests.
So Kessler Crane purchased us the F3 and the Compact Primes about a month ago, and the reason why we bought it was for this upgrade. We're super excited about it, and we found out that they had it. And I guess the upgrade is not supposed to be coming out until probably early fall, late summer maybe. So we proposed an idea for them to go out and shoot some test footage.
So like all good plans, at 2 o'clock in the morning last night, Khalid and John had this idea of doing a test with the F3. I'd seen some tests of it, I was pretty impressed, and they asked me if I shoot some aerial stuff, and I said, sure, why not? Ergo the glasses.
You know, once again, we're out here on our free time. We're not getting paid to do this, but we're passionate.
So we have half a day to get whatever we want in this great, beautiful city.
It's kind of mission impossible. The show closes at 6 and sunsets at 7 p.m. And we have to run around and get gear from all over NAB.
I said before, and I'll say it again, NAB is really about the people and who you can connect with. And that connection with the people will get you some really cool projects and really cool gear.
Everybody was so amazing and helped us out with this project so much.
We got helicopters, we got gyros, we got all kinds of crazy lenses, working with tons of sponsors.
Kessler Crane sponsored us with some money. Jared Abrams from Wide Open Camera sponsored us with some money too.
The lens package we're working with today is unbelievable. Cook Optics gave us 2 beautiful brand new Pancros to test out. We're working with the amazing RE Master Primes. We have the 8R Ultra Prime, which is one of the widest super 35mm lenses ever made, and the R stands for rectilinear, meaning it's not a fisheye. It's a standard wide angle lens, and it's absolutely bonkers. We're very lucky in that Ingenue went out of their way and gave us their brand new full line of DP Rouge lenses. It's literally a dream. It's like every manufacturer is represented and every great lens is represented. It's fantastic.
The F3 right now, without the firmware, does 420 into S/S cards. It's definitely not a terrible compression, but it's something that's definitely going to fall apart when you're going to color grade it. And what the S-Log does is it enables the camera to record 444 uncompressed, which is pretty amazing. So it's pushing the sensor to its full capacity.
We're using a Cinedec Extreme to record the dual length 444. And the beauty is that it records simultaneously the same moment in time. So we're going to be able to see what an 8-bit 420 codec will look like immediately next to its equal in dual length 444 S-Log.
It's really exciting, and it really shreds the latitude of the camera, and by 2, I would say at least 2, maybe even 3 stops.
I did a lot of testing the camera before, you know, and so I'm used to seeing where it kind of hit the highlight space. And right away, when we turned on S-Log, we saw a nice jump in the highlight space. I mean, a good stop and a half, maybe 2 stops up above what we're used to seeing. So just in highlight blooming, it was pretty amazing what we saw.
The S-Log output, it really takes full advantage of what the sensor can do. I mean, it's an amazing camera. It has an amazing chip in it. And we're basically gonna put it through the ringer. We're gonna throw the kitchen sink at this thing in terms of contrast and difficult situations with lighting and dynamic range, and try and keep the sun in the shot. You know, like all the things that normally spoil a digital image. Just makes it read video. You know, those telltale signs. Well, it seems like the S-Log upgrade is the magic bullet that's gonna make that not happen. We're just gonna be able to see detail we've never been able to see before.
I'm really excited about the potential of the camera to allow filmmakers to get access to something with such range. I mean, we have the cameras like the Alexa and the F8 with all these HDR modes and extreme range modes and just big sensors, but the F3 to me is like a way of getting in at a much lower price point and still get amazing quality.
It fills a gap in the market that has been this massive gaping chasm between the Red 1 and the 5D Mark II. The productions I work on, often we require things like a video village and multiple monitoring and syncing time code, multiple cameras, gen lock, those sorts of things. And you know, yes, I can do that on a Red, but sometimes, you know, if you need a 2-camera shoot, a Red is way too expensive for most budgets. A 5D Mark II ergonomically is far more difficult to work with, and it still will never give you a low compression recording. It'll never give you really great audio. It'll never give you a lot of the things that you really need in a production that demands it. So, you know, this fills that midpoint beautifully. It's a fully featured professional camera, truly professional camera.
I think this camera has the potential of being right up there with the big boys in terms of exposure latitude, especially with this new S-Log thing. So that's really why I got to be a part of this, is I wanted to see for myself how much better this does than quite a majority, if not all, the cameras out there.
So it's right up there with, I would say, Alexa.
Yeah.
So it's very impressive.
The big test is going to be able to see if this, you know, $13,000 camera with a $3,500 upgrade can compete with the Alexa, which is like an upwards of, you know, 60 grand or whatever.
What's amazing is this is for the first time we have a camera system that can give the average user Hollywood quality images at a price that's unheard of. It's never been done before, and it's a brave new world right now.
Basically, we just started out. We just shot aerials with the executive producer, Vincent Laforet. So we got the aerials covered, lots of latitude. We hit it right at a good time to be able to show like the lights on the strip in contrast to the light over the mountains.
We ran into one little snafu in that because of the high winds, they weren't able to allow us to fly with the doors open. So I ended up with a system that was configured to be, you know, on the ground with a Tyler gyro, with ingenue zoom, with 19mm rods all the way out to here, seated in the front seat with 2 monitors flopping around. So it's far from ideal, but I'm really interested to see what turns out with the camera.
So that's like our daytime stuff, and then we're doing some daytime stuff tomorrow morning before 9 a.m. But and then tonight we're going to test a lot of the neon lights on the strip to see how those colors hold up.
We have some lovely models coming. We're going to do skin tone testing, high contrast, low contrast, testing overexposure, testing underexposure, and it's more. We're going to do it more in a sense of like real life situations. I mean, we're not about charts. We're not about that kind of thing. We just want to see what it looks like.
There couldn't really be a better place than Vegas to test this camera.
As this night goes on into the morning, I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing everybody kind of grow and learn from each other. And in the end, it's did we get the shot or didn't we? And so far, we're getting the shots. And this is going to be a great night.
Back in New York City, we're finally out of Vegas, and we are at Tom Wong's post-production studio editing the S-Log test, and it's amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. Tom Wong is the man.
I think one thing that could be interesting that people could learn from this is that when they see how great the latitude is on the S-Log and they see how the XD cam isn't as great as that, they're going to learn a lot about controlling their highlights and shadows, which is a very important thing to know as like an up-and-coming DP, because you can make your stuff look like S-Log if you have the lights to fill in your subject. So I think that's pretty inspiring for kids to learn from that.
I guess the pixel race is kind of over, and now camera manufacturers are really getting down and dirty with latitude and trying to improve the camera's latitude, which is probably one of the most important things in a camera is latitude.
I know several people who are right on the fringe of investing in the Alexa, but I have a feeling they're going to see this footage and they're going to be like, okay, I'm not buying an Alexa anymore, I'm going to Sony. You know, so that's what I'm curious to see, how all my friends' decisions change when they see this S-Log.
Yeah, I think also the nice thing is you can shoot either one or the other. You can do XD cam or you can do S-Log, and that's amazing, because in not every single scenario you go out and shoot you want to do S-Log, and not every other scenario you want to do XD cam. So if you're going out and shooting documentary, that's got to be, it's about like the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, well, for example, like Khalid and I do a lot of, I guess we're calling it cinematic documentary, where like the budgets are a little bit better and we have more time to compose shots. For that, we would use S-Log. For this stuff where I'm getting thrown in a tour bus and running around with a bunch of band kids, I would totally use the 420 native codec.
Yeah, and just having a camera that's so versatile. It's just insane that it can do both. I guess the more and more I shoot, the more this makes sense, is you are who you associate yourself with. And this test was a pure example of that.
Yeah.
I guess probably most of the people that we were hanging with and working with at NAB was 100% of the reason why this actually happened. We had 10 hours to produce it and 10 hours to shoot it in a place where we don't live and we don't have any accessibility and any context in.
Yeah,
and without knowing amazing people, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, and that's like, that brings me over to my next thought about just like the collaboration process within the film industry. It's not all about egos, it's not all about like how much you're getting paid. It's these kind of projects where a bunch of talented filmmakers come together and join their forces to really push the boundaries of the industry. So like these 2 days where we just didn't sleep and were reckless and could hardly see, I mean, hopefully in some way this pushes the industry in a forward direction. So right now, right after NAB, it's pretty clear that there's no excuses anymore for not being able to shoot a pretty good image. So you have everything, you have depth of field, you have latitude, you have color space. So go pick up your camera and go shoot some stuff, and let's change this industry for the better.